Hello and welcome to my channel. This should be a pretty quick one, I'm hoping. As you can tell from the title of this, The Flash should flop. Now, why do I say that? I mean, people may look at me and say, but you're a DC fan. Your son is named after Superman. You're darn right he is. But he's not named after Cavill's Superman. He's named after the embodiment of Superman, what Superman stands for. So, the fact that my son is named after the embodiment of Superman, truth, justice, the American way, the best, helping the world with his gifts. I could not in good conscience, no matter how much I love Michael Keaton, and God knows I love Michael Keaton as an actor. Multiplicity, one of the best romantic comedies you will ever see. Beetlejuice, classic. Can't wait for Beetlejuice 2. Hopefully that doesn't have any scandal surrounding it. I love Michael Keaton as an actor. That being said, I don't think he should have joined the project of The Flash, because as much as I love him, I will not support Ezra Miller with all his scandalous behavior. I will not tell Hollywood that that is okay. Hollywood needs to be held accountable. And if they're not, it's just going to continue. I mean, the Harvey Weinsteins, hate to get real here, but the casting couches, things like that, you do this for me, I get you a big role. That kind of behavior in Hollywood needs to stop. Hollywood is a cesspool. Matthew Lawrence has gone on record recently talking about a director meeting him in a hotel room, which he thought was weird in the first place anyway, instead of like the studio, and meeting him in a bathrobe, telling him he needed to disrobe so they could get some pictures of his body, and they talk about what role he could, put him in, a big role. Matthew Lawrence left, never knowing what might have happened during that whole thing, which I'm glad he did, but I'm glad he's speaking out against it now. I mean, these things need to come to light. Hollywood, these things, buying people off, charges being dropped because a lot of cash gets thrown at them. This is not okay. This kind of behavior needs to be held accountable. And the only way to do that is hit them where it hurts. Their wallet. The money. The very thing they pay people off with because they got so much of it, takes them away, they're going to start listening. I mean, proof is in the pudding. Sonic the Hedgehog, which came out recently. Well, not recently. Sonic 2 came out recently. But Sonic the Hedgehog, which came out in the last, 5 years. The original trailer came out, spent a lot of money making that trailer, doing the designs for Sonic, just to have the people say that I hate that Sonic. Like, the internet blew up with Sonic. What happened? They knew if they kept that Sonic, it was going to hurt their bottom line when it came to the box office. So they redid all of Sonic's scenes, redid the trailer. They redid Sonic's design completely. And people loved it. So there's a Sonic 2. There's going to be a Sonic 3. Because they listened to the people. So whether you believe it or not, you have power. So like I said, naming my son after Superman because of the embodiment, I could not in good conscience support Ezra Miller in this role. I wanted it to be recast either to somebody new or even to the CW's Flash, who already had a big following. That way it could be a different timeline. You could still have Michael Keaton and all the other cameos you had in it. And it wouldn't have been surrounded by so much scandal. And I believe that's why it flopped. $55 million at the box office, less than Black Adam, which everybody said was horrible. And they're all praising this movie, saying it's great, yet no one's going out to see it really. Less than Black Adam. Because some people have morals, and they know that Hollywood needs to be held accountable. You do have the power. You have to make it count. I love Michael Keaton. Like I said, my favorite all-time live-action Batman. But they pushed him and everybody else a lot in the trailers and talked about the cameos and did little trailers with Ezra because they knew people were going to go. They wanted people to go see it for the nostalgia parts and all that and forget all about it, about what Ezra Miller has done. I will continue to call said actor Ezra Miller by name, so I'm not using any pronouns. Because Ezra Miller is a singular person, Ezra Miller. So, that being said, way back in 2020, choked out a woman in Iceland, threw a chair at a bar during an altercation where he was asked to leave, where Ezra Miller was asked to leave. Hit a woman in the head with it. Got mad at some patrons for singing Shallow, that song with Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper. Never explained why. Just got mad at them for performing it during karaoke night. I mean, that's what karaoke night is for. If they sounded bad, oh well, that's half the fun. So anyway, did that. I'm sure everybody's heard all about the new allegations of child grooming. It's not new. I mean, back in 2020, they were talking about him running a cult in an Airbnb where he would find young, impressionable women or non-binary characters, that were impressionable to control them. He'd separate them from their family and then have them indoctrinate them in his way of thinking. If you know abuse, that is the first sign. They separate their victim from anybody that can tell them any different. So for someone that's doing this and then grooming small children in a house with an unlicensed cannabis farm with firearms all over the place, a child put a bullet in his mouth. It could have been a gun in his mouth, God forbid. But a bullet in his mouth, could have choked on it. Unsafe conditions. It's just unacceptable behavior. And as I said, you got the Harvey Weinsteins, you got whatever director that was. Matthew Lawrence did not mention any names, that met him with a bathrobe. That kind of, if you do this for me, I can get you in a big role. That kind of smut from Hollywood, that kind of cesspool behavior needs to stop. We are the only ones that can do it. We are the people, 4th of July is coming up. We the people. We have the power. So, I know I'm going to get blasted for this, and I don't care. I'm wearing my skillet hat because John Cooper has inspired me to speak the truth no matter what. So, for anybody out there, that's what I mean. The Flash needs to flop. Because people said, if you support the Flash, you're not supporting Ezra Miller's behavior. You're supporting all the actors that took part in the production team and all those people that worked on the film. You're supporting them. They've got families to feed. But keep in mind, this is a director recently saying he couldn't picture anybody else in the role but Ezra Miller. He would not recast it, and that a sequel he would definitely have a sequel if the box office showed up. So he's not going to recast Ezra Miller. If the box office gets good numbers, there will definitely be a sequel. Meaning, if you go see this movie and the box office is big enough, guess who gets another job in Flash 2? Ezra Miller. So if you support child grooming, abuse, a biological male choking out a biological female, which he was only doing that because he doesn't feel like a biological male, and that's what's dangerous, is he feels he has the right as a biological male, even though he doesn't know he is, to choke out a female. I don't care where you live. I don't care where you are. I don't care your views. Conservative, liberal. I don't care who you are. No one should choke out anybody. a man shouldn't choke out a man, a female shouldn't choke out a female. But definitely, never, ever should a man lay his hands on a woman. That's my belief. And I don't care, like I said, conservative, liberal, doesn't matter where your stance is, you should feel the same. So let's keep Hollywood accountable. We can do it. We the people. As I said, some of the cameos I've heard about, I was like, that'd be kind of cool. But I will not support Ezra Miller enough to go see them. I will not. I will not put any of my money into that. I want Hollywood to be accountable. I want other actors to feel safe in Hollywood, to know they're getting the job based on their credentials, based on their acting talent, not on what they do for a director behind closed doors. That just makes me sick to the pit of my stomach. So we need to hold Hollywood accountable. Let them know. You should have recast The Flash. No matter who you picked, you should have recast. Or scrapped the movie altogether and did a solo Batman Beyond movie and had a bunch of Batmans in it for people to watch. Because they would have watched. I guarantee it. So, I don't like, hoping bad will on people. I'm all for goodwill. But when it comes to holding someone accountable and consequences, we can do it. Hold Hollywood accountable. We do not want movies with people who have these behaviors until these behaviors are addressed and the consequences are paid for said behaviors. We cannot have this. So keep an eye out when you're supporting music, books, anything you're supporting with your hard-earned money, movies. Keep an eye out and see what you're actually supporting. And, follow your heart. If you don't want to support it, you got to make a stand. It's not easy for me to not see Michael Keaton as Batman again. Believe me, I love him. But I'm making a stand. And you can stand with me. Thank you for watching. Let's keep each other accountable. And God bless.